Hello, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live show for Tales of the Shadow Academy by Cassandra, Clare, Maureen Johnson, and Rees, Brennan. We're going to be discussing this book today. If you don't know, I am hosting a read-along for the entire Shadowhunter Chronicles. It's almost over at this point, which is wild. We only have, 3 books left to discuss in our live shows and stuff. But if you want to join us for the last few months, get in some Shadowhunter Chronicle reading before Queen of Air and Darkness later this year. All that information is going to be in the description below. But today we're talking about Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. And I'm joined by my 2 lovely co-hosts, who I will introduce in a minute. But if you don't know, my name is Emma. I'm from the channel emmmabooks. This is my second time reading Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. I originally read them as the ebook novellas as they were coming out, like 2 years ago, I think it was. And this is my first time rereading it. Like, I never reread the novellas, despite how many times I've read the novels. But I really enjoyed it. I give 5 out of 5 stars. I love Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. I think it's just really cool how, not only are we getting development from Simon's character, but we're also learning about so many different eras in the Shadowhunter world, and there's so many different characters, and there is like this cohesive storyline along them all. But I love it. So if Miriam, do you want to introduce yourself next?
Yeah. So my name is Miriam. I don't have a booktube. I have a bookstagram. I've read the Shadowhunter Chronicles before, but this is my first time reading Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy, and I loved it. I was in shock with how great it was. And my favorite out of all of them, I think, was Nothing But Shadows. Which, in my opinion, was like how the cursed child should have been. Like, J.K. Rowling, take notes. Yeah, but that's pretty much it.
Awesome. All right. And Louisa, do you want to go next? Oh, did she freeze?
Okay. I'm Louisa. I'm from Brazil. What? That's fine now?
Yeah, you're all good. Sorry, I don't know why my kind of freaked out.
I'm Louisa. I'm from Brazil. I do not have a booktube channel or bookstagram. I'm just a reader. And this is my second time reading Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. I read it last year for the first time when the book was all in, all bite up. And this is like one of my favorite books from Cassandra Clare for all, like among them all, because I have this book has a really special place in my heart for some. I don't know if it's time to tell the story. Should I tell the story?
Go for it. This is what we're here for, man.
Last year, I was a senior in high school, and senior year can be really stressful. So besides being a senior, I was dealing with depression, and I was in a huge reading slump for over a year. I haven't read anything ever since Lady Midnight came out in 2016. So I was in a really dark place. And one day my mom just asked me if I want to go to the bookstore. And I was like, yeah. And I got the book and I read it, I devoured it. And that's when I realized that I don't know, it's just when I look back, I feel so great that I picked up that book again and got out of my reading slump and started to feel better again.
That's so great.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's such a really wonderful story. And I think that's something that literally everyone here can relate to, just reading that one great book that really changes our life, or even if it's just the position that we're in at the moment. I think that's so awesome. I'm so happy that you have this connection to our buddy Simon's own individual book. It's a special book for him too. So we're going to probably jump into spoiler-filled discussion. If you haven't read Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy yet, I'd suggest going to read it, number 1, because it's amazing. But number 2, you can come back because this live stream will be saved on my channel, and you can watch it at any point. So yeah, leave now if you haven't read it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, but we are going to be taking questions from the live chat. So if you have any questions, any interesting things you noticed while reading that you want to discuss with us, please let us know. I think my first question is going to be your favorite novella, and we can also extend it to your least favorite as well, since I know Miriam already shared her favorite.
Yeah.
I always say that my favorite is the Faerie trial, because I'm just like so emotional when it comes to just the Moral Instruments characters, and I just love seeing the relationship between like Simon and Jace grow, and the friendship between Clare and Simon, and how it all ties back to Emma and Julian's parabatai ceremony, and Simon picks up on a little something that he doesn't tell anyone.
I noticed that.
Some feelings. I don't actually know how in depth it goes into that particular scene, but he tends to resonate a lot with Julian for some reasons. So yeah, I would just always love the Faerie trial. Like when I read it, I like bawled when I read it for the first time. It was really emotional. What about you, Louisa? What is your favorite?
My favorite is the last one. I don't know the name because I'm Portuguese, but it's the one when George died.
That's your favorite because George died?
Oh my God.
No, I love George. I love him so much, but when he died, I started to cry, and then I was with the book sobbing. I went to the living room, and my mom was there. She was like, "What happened?"
Oh no. It's that ending is wild. It's really wild.
Yeah, my favorite. Like, if a novella can make me cry, this is like my favorite.
Oh yeah, it's really sad. It's like I feel like I kind of predicted it because I remember when it was when it had come out, Cassie Clare, or like when she had like announced this novella series, she had said there was going to be like one death, like someone's gonna die in this novella, and my first thought was George, but it's so sad because we never get to see more of him than this book. Like he doesn't have any more story, which is so wild.
It's so sad.
It's so sad.
Oh, me, actually.
He deserved so much more out of life.
Yeah, but I thought it was really smart that he died. Not smart, but like it's kind of like a fast, quick reminder that the Shadowhunter world is low key. Like cruel, not cruel, but like a little like, you know, serious.
A real world.
Yeah, it's like harsh. Like they're very like strict and to the point. And that is a good point. It really just shows the reality that like the Shadowhunter life isn't always like sexy demon hunters and romances. You know, like there's a lot of darkness in this culture too, which I think is a really good point. What do you guys think is your least favorite? Spill the tea.
I don't know.
Louisa, do you have a least favorite, or are they just all just amazing to you?
I don't think I have one. I love them all so much.
Miriam, do you have a least favorite?
I don't think so. I think there were a few that I enjoyed less because they were not as action packed, but I can't just remember one specifically that I enjoyed less.
I think shut the blinds.
What'd you say?
No, the blinds. Oh, I will shut the blinds for a little bit this time.
Yeah, no worries. Just be comfortable. So I think my least favorite is actually the Whitechapel Fiend.
No, it's fine.
Which is really disappointing because that's like the big one for Gemma and Tessa and Will in this story. But for some reason, I just like, maybe it's because I'm like so infatuated with Jack the Ripper that it just like felt a little bit lackluster compared to like what the actual story of Jack the Ripper is. I just felt it wasn't as eventful and it wrapped up really quickly. So I have to say that one is probably my least favorite out of all of them. But I'm always mad about it when I read it because I never enjoy it as much. And I'm like, but it's Will and Tessa. Like, why wouldn't I enjoy it?
Yeah, I think I really loved it because I focused more on the Will and Tessa being parents. Like, I thought it was just like, wow, like it was done so well. I wasn't like, of course, I was paying attention to the whole Jack the Ripper aspect, but it was less of an important thing to me. So I think that's
totally.
why I enjoyed it more.
I think that's totally valid. So a question. Well, two people have asked, who is your favorite new character?
I think I don't.
Can I just say George?
Which one did you say?
George was my favorite.
Oh yeah, I think George is totally my
I think
favorite.
Beatrice. She was just so important. Like, and
Wait, which
I really
character?
like Beatrice. Like,
Oh,
Beatrice.
Beatrice.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's just that
because
she.
I'm American. Beatrice, that might be the better pronunciation. Yeah, I really liked her character too. I feel like I'm inclined to say George just because like he definitely was the most developed out of all of the new characters, which I think helps.
Yeah.
But I just love his and Simon's relationship. Like it was just so pure and equal and wonderful. And I love at the end when they're talking about how like they've become more than friends and roommates. They feel like brothers. Like
Oh,
Simon already has.
Oh, I cried.
I think
That's so
the
cute.
paragraph is something like, you know, he has his best friend Clare, he has his girlfriend Isabelle, but like George is the one thing he's never had, and that's a brother. And I just like
yeah.
it makes me so emotional.
gonna sob. Yeah.
It's so
Like, he's definitely my favorite. He's definitely my favorite, but like second favorite is Beatrice for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I realized this time around reading it is that I didn't hate John Cartwright as much as I thought I did. How do you guys feel
I
about
didn't
that?
because of Lord Shadow.
What did you guys say?
Lord Shadow. Because of Lord Shadows, I didn't hate them as much as I did.
Yeah, because he's a character.
Oh, I
that
haven't read
really
Lord of
isn't
Shadows
there.
yet, so
No spoilers. But yeah, I really hated him the first time because he's so annoying and rude and mean to the beginning. But I feel like midway into like the second year of it, like they really do like become friends. Like Simon and John don't end off as like enemies. And so I think being able to like recognize more their relationship, maybe be like, okay, maybe he's like annoying, but he's not like a terrible person. And I also really liked his relationship with Marisol too. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's see. Do you guys have any questions or anything that really struck you while reading?
Not yet. I'm trying to remember.
I have something.
Yeah, go for it.
So in the Magnus and Alec story, I forget what it's called.
Where
they find the baby and stuff. As a member of the LGBTQ community, like that was just like it made my heart happy to see them as parents. Like still like same-sex parents is still seen as something like some people like don't like it so much, and Cassandra Clare just like put it in her book and was like deal with it, and like I really thought it was beautiful. I thought that was so great.
Yeah, Born to Endless Night is so good. It's so good. Louisa, what did you think about Magnus and Alec adopting Max?
I thought it was so cute. I love all the plot with the children. I think they grew up so much as a couple with their children, and it's just so cute. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of the Bane Chronicles, but I started to, I don't know, I love them more in her new novels.
Yeah, No, go for it. Continue. What were you saying?
No, I don't have anything more.
Yeah, I love Born to Endless Night because it's just, you get so much insight into how Malik is post Mortal Instruments, because they go through so much turmoil, and like there's not a lot of those like great happy moments for Malik in the books, but now like they're in love and they're in such like a mature place, and so I love seeing them together. And which someone just said, Christie's Bookish World just mentioned the conversation about them getting married and how like they aren't going to get married until it's like an equal marriage in the eyes of like everyone, and it's like so important to them, and I think it's so beautiful. Like I really love Malik post TMI.
Same.
Yeah, they're so cute. Oh yeah, and how they like are baby proofing the place. Or like,
oh my god, that was so great.
So funny. And I also like how like it's so interesting that Alec is the one that's really like, I want to keep this baby, like I want to raise him with you, and Magnus, who is like the older, more mature person with more experience, is like a little bit more reluctant about it because it's such a bigger step than what he's ever experienced. And so I just think it's so cute how like you know, their roles towards each other change a little bit, and they really grow together, and it's so cute.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Clary and Simon becoming parabatai? Like, did you guys predict it beforehand? Like, because I know my first thought at the end of City of Heavenly Fire when Simon was going to ascend, I'm like, oh my god, they're going to be parabatai.
Me too, but when I started to read the book, I in the end thought that George and Simon would end up parabatai. So I'm happy that they are now.
It's funny that you say that, because like one of the things I was thinking while we're reading it this time is like, dang, like I kind of wish that like Simon and George could be parabatai. Like they're so good together, and I feel like that would mean so much to George especially. And then they have that whole conversation about how like they're different than parabatai, like they're brothers, and that it doesn't mean like it's not like it's Clare is number 1 and George is number 2 or anything like that. Like it really is a whole different category of relationship, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. That was great.
Yeah, I love them being parabatai. It makes me so happy, and I love that. Like, oh, and I thought it was so clever that like the reason that he can become parabatai is because he's like not old and like his body is frozen.
Oh yeah, that was so. I was like, yes, like thank you, Cassandra, Clare. Like that was so great.
I forget about that all the time.
That's something that I get right while reading the books, is that you don't remember that they're at their, like, I don't know, Tessa, for example, she's 16, but she doesn't act like a 16-year-old sometimes, and you have to remember that, oh, she's a 16-year-old, she acts like that
wild.
because she's a 16, and it's something that you have to keep remembering. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I just had a really good point on like the Clary and Simon, but I don't remember what it was.
Oh no.
I'll come back to it, don't worry.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, how do you guys feel about this Simon's new Shadowhunter last name?
I forget what it was.
Lovelace.
Oh my god. Oh right.
He takes George's name.
Right. That was so nice. Oh, I loved it. Like I don't even have anything to say. Like it was just perfect.
I think it's so cute.
When I read it, I was imagining a scene between Simon and Jessie for some reason. Like that would be so cute. That would be so cute.
I would love to see them interact one day.
Same.
Oh, I think that was so cute. Let's see. What else happens in this book? So much happens in this book. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask. So, how did you guys feel about seeing the some of the characters from the Last Hour series? Because this is our first introduction to them. With Nothing But Shadows, we meet James and we meet Christopher and all of them. So, what did you guys think about that cast of characters? Because they're the main characters of the next series that's coming out.
I'm really excited because. No, say it first.
No, you can go. It's all right.
I'm really excited because at the time I don't have the book. I don't remember. Oh my god. The one with the photographs of everyone. Like,
oh, Genesis of the Downworld, the Shadowhunter one?
Yeah, I don't have it. So I have a hard time to remember who it was. And my best friend keeps remembering that. Oh, that's him, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I really loved the story, and I'm really excited for the last hours. But at the time, I just had a hard time to remember who it was and who were their children. The family tree was something that bugged me a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was clear enough.
Yeah, the family trees get so complicated.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh, actually, I also think I'm wrong. I don't think this is. I'm pretty sure the Bane Chronicles has a. Doesn't the Bane Chronicles have one with James Herondale?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not the first one. I'm wrong, but this one like stands out to me because like they're so young, and so I really like them. I know if any of you guys have read Ghost from the Shadow Market, there's even more information about them there. But I really liked the dynamic between James. Is it Christopher? I always get them confused. Christopher
I think so.
is, yeah.
James, no?
James Herondale, and who's Will and Tessa's kid, and then Christopher Lightwood. Is it Christopher? Like, they all have the same names. All of their names sound like exactly. So confusing. Whatever. So James and the Lightwood.
Yeah.
I think it's cute how like they. Oh no. Why am I like losing my mind? I can't remember anyone. Someone in the chat. I'm mixing them all up now because there's so many.
I got the
That
family
happens.
No, she's
got the family tree.
Is it It's Matthew Fairchild. That's who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That is who I'm talking about. Thank you so much, Celesta. Yes, Matthew. Thank gosh. Okay. I really like their relationship. That's all I was trying to say.
I really enjoyed seeing the dynamic between all of them. Because usually when it's the kid of two characters we love or that we really know, there's always the fear of them being too much like them or you don't feel a connection. And I just really liked how they all. It felt like you could recognize who was whose child, but like there were new people like individually, and I really liked how it all came together and how it was. I thought it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know when I read City of Heavenly Fire for the first time, when we had the introduction of the Dark Artifices characters, like I didn't care about them. I was like, no, give me my main characters.
Yeah.
And with this story, there's so many more characters that are in the last hours, and may not be the first, but it's one of the first interactions we see with this group of characters. And this time I was like really invested in them. I'm like, I want to know more about them, and I think they're really interesting. So yeah, I'm really happy with the inclusion of that story and how we get to see them like before the story starts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's really nice.
Let's see. Oh, how did you guys feel about Katarina Loss? Because she's a character who's like very minimal in the Mortal Instruments series, but she becomes way more important in this series of novellas.
I was glad that she was, because I didn't feel so connected to her because like she is a minor character like until now, and she's not someone I specifically like or don't like, but I thought it was really interesting to see more of her, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, Louisa, what do you think of Katarina?
I loved her that we had. Oh my god, I'm getting so messed up in my English today. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally okay. Please,
yeah, you're good.
Don't apologize.
I'm really glad that we got to see more of Katarina because she's so interesting. It's so interesting to see more than just Shadowhunters and werewolves. I don't know. I love Warlock so much.
I do too.
And I love
Same.
I really liked her relationship with Simon because she's sort of like this, like almost like a Dumbledore figure. Like she's just like always watching over things and helping Simon like make the right decisions for himself and reminding him to be the Shadowhunter that he wants to be. Mm-hmm. And so I really liked like how like every once in a while like Simon, like Katarina would pull Simon aside and they would talk, and how she like told him the story of how she like basically raised the lost Herondale, which is so wild. I totally forgot about that when like in the like after reading it and stuff. And so yeah, I think that she's a really valuable character, and I'm so happy that we got more development out of her.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. So what other novellas were particularly striking to you guys? Like, or like this is open to anyone in the chat. Like we're all discussing here together. You know, like what were some significant moments? Let me look at what happened again so I can remember. Oh, okay. One of my favorites was The Evil We Love, which is the one with Robert Lightwood when he tells him the story of the circle,
Oh
and
my
Izzy
God,
basically
yes.
tricks them all into following her blindly and doing bad stuff, and they just all look so dumb at the end. What did you guys think about that one?
I love to see the circle because I think I like talking about Harry Potter. We all wanted a book about the Marauders. I don't know if it's correctly about Harry's fathers and series and all that stuff. And this is our version of it. And I love to see more of the circle to understand what was going on in their mind. And it was funny too. Not funny, but sad.
It's funny. Yeah, I agree. I thought it was really interesting.
Oh no!
Continue.
I don't know. Just my country, there's a lot of stuff happening about the government and how people think, and they had such a rebel side. I don't know.
Oh no! I think she's losing connection.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my god. It was really good. They thought back then what led them to do what they did, and that's really interesting to connect to the present.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it was really cool to see from the perspective of inside the circle, because we've only ever really seen it from people talking about how terrible Valentine is, and now we get to see them as these 18, 19-year-old kids, literally kids, having all of these big thoughts and making all of these decisions. And so I thought that was really interesting. I always wanted a series, or even just a one standalone about the circle, because I think it's so fascinating, how it really was just this group of idealists in school, and they ended up having one of the biggest conflicts in Shadowhunter history.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I really liked that specific short story because we had the humor of Isabelle and Simon thinking what's going on, and that was really funny. But then we also had the serious aspect of how the circle, how it really started, and how people were starting to think oh no, what's going on, but I think so that was really fascinating too.
Yeah, I thought it was so funny how they literally the whole, it's basically just a look at these kids who don't listen to anything our teachers are saying, because they're being taught the lesson and they're doing the exact opposite. And I also, one other thing that I really like about that novella is how we get more insight into what happened with Robert Lightwood and Michael, because we found out that Michael had feelings for Robert in City of Heavenly Fire, but we get to see it from Robert's perspective in the story. So I thought that was really important and interesting. Oh no, I think that Louisa's internet just popped out.
Yeah.
Oh no. We'll still be on here for longer, and she can pop back in, hopefully. So let's see what other
Here she is.
questions. Oh, finally! Yay! Everything okay?
Oh. Hi.
I'm so sorry. I know Google Hangouts is troublesome sometimes.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about Helen and Eileen's marriage?
Oh my god.
I love them so much.
I love
that. Was a
so
great
much.
novella.
That was such a great one, and I really like how Simon was also excited about it. It was just yay. But I also really liked how everyone could see how badly they were being treated, with Helen being, I don't remember, how they're being separated with the whole Blackthorn family drama. But I thought it was really great that they included that. Again, Cassandra and Clare are so great with including LGBT content, and good for it's really great.
Yeah, I really love it. Oh no, I think that Louisa's internet is still not working. I feel so bad. Oh no. Hopefully it'll just work itself out. Yeah, I think they're so sweet, and I really like that novella because it really does set the scene for what is it? The Dark Artifices, because
exactly.
what am I trying to say? Because like you really start to see how the Faerie conflict is and how people really treat them and how people are like literally like saying right in front of Helen, like she's not a person. And it's
Oh my
so
God,
ridiculous, but it's like also like something that's actually happening in our world today and people are still treated like this. So
exactly.
it's very, very intense. And I have a lot of feelings.
Same. I think the series is really good at foreshadowing.
Oh no!
Oh hi, you're back.
I feel so bad. Is everything okay over there? Oh no, she's not frozen again. Poor Louisa.
Yeah.
Oh no. Let's see what other questions you guys have. Oh, Celissa says, I love how Jace just took advantage of Simon losing his memory. About how he like
I love that.
plants all these memories in his hand and is like, oh yeah, we do this. You don't remember? It's so funny.
But I completely forgot why there was this whole thing of Alec being mad at Simon. Like I was so confused throughout like half of the book.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot.
I was like, what's going on? Like I don't remember this at all. But then they obviously talked about it, so.
Yeah, I'm really glad that like everyone sort of worked their problems out, especially like between Simon and Izzy.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you think about Simon and Izzy throughout the whole thing?
I thought in the beginning I was a bit hesitant to like ship them and love them because I felt like there was a lot of water under the bridge and they had stuff to figure out, but slowly you really see how much they care for each other. Like Isabelle being like confident and like, you know, not really talking about her feelings so much, and then slowly her being able to, and also Simon with not having his memory, and like they really overcame their individual problems and like their togetherness problems, and I thought it was a really wonderful thing to see.
Yeah, I really love all of the development that Louise, are you back?
Hi, Louisa.
I'm back. I'm so sorry.
No, it's totally. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry.
Sucks at the
No, it's
time of the day that my internet just sucks, and it's fine, I guess.
no. I'm so glad you're back.
Same.
So we've just been talking about like Simon and Izzy's relationship.
Okay. Let me do the. Oh god. I'm trying to recap what happened.
Yeah, no, take your time. Take your time. One thought that I had, I like to give you, like to share my thoughts on it, because I don't think I really talked about how I felt about Simon and Izzy. I love their relationship, and I love all of the issues that they have in the story. I love that, like, Simon is standing up for himself and is like, I'm not your boyfriend, like I need time to figure out things myself. I'm not this person, and I feel like you're putting me in this box that I can't be in for you. And Isabelle is like, I don't care about all of this. I just want you to be like who you are, whether you have these memories or not. And so I love like how it starts out and they're just like constantly at each other's throats, and it's so frustrating because you're like, just see each other's perspective.
Exactly.
But you know, once they do like go on their dates and stuff, like it does become like very like they really understand each other, and I think that's so sweet.
Yeah, they finally talked. Like the whole book I was like, sit down with each other and talk. Like, come on. It took a while.
Yeah, totally. Oh no, I think Louisa's frozen again.
Oh no, I feel so bad.
I know, it happens. It's like the internet plus Google Hangouts is like not reliable at all.
Yeah.
You know, like we're here when it works itself out. What other ones did we not talk about? We didn't talk about, well, we talked about like Helen and Eileen in Pale Kings and Princes, but what was I going to say? I think finding out about what happened between Mark and Helen's parents was also really interesting because like everyone, like the whole thing is like everyone has this view of like like the fairies were terrible and they tortured them, but the true story is that like it was so much more complex than that. I found that really interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear about all these things about these, not new, but characters that we're going to hear more about in the Dark Artifices. Like, also the whole Emma and Julian foreshadowing, like, it really made you think, like, what's going to happen? And it also brings excitement for upcoming books, which is really great.
Yeah, I think that's the one, like, really great things about like the novellas from Cassandra Clare is that they give so much insight into upcoming books. And it's like so easy to be like, oh, they're not like a part of the series, but like you miss so much if you don't actually read them. And it's great because there's so much foreshadowing.
Exactly.
Is Louisa back?
Cassandra Clare's so good. Louisa!
So great. Oh, I feel so bad. Like I feel so bad when this stuff happens.
That's okay.
I just want her to be present.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about the novella with Mark? I thought that was a really intense novella.
Yeah, it was emotional and kind of scary. Like, these things happen in that world, and it was just like I was taken aback, like how everything, like whatever was going on with Mark. Like, I thought it was really like traumatic for him, but also like I think it should be taken seriously. Like, I just thought it was really, like, you know,
dark. Yeah. Louisa, can you hear us? Louisa, can you hear us?
Hear me? I can hear you guys, but I cannot see you. Oh no, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, that I didn't hear, but
oh my god, you guys were talking. You guys like it right now.
What were your thoughts on Simon and Izzy's relationship?
I thought it was like so well developed. Because it's just like you said, I heard that part when you were like, Simon that is, and he's struggling with that too. And it was really nice to see that part of the relationship because there are now two different Simons that, and Izzy hasn't like figured out how to deal with it yet. And I'm really glad that it ended up well. Like, what happened in the next books, but like, it was really great for me.
Yeah,
I just think like they've been through so much, and I love that like Sizzy has been like the slow burn romance in this story, and it like starts with them like, you know, like Simon like obviously being attracted to Isabelle, but like using his affection for her as a way to make Clary jealous, like to where they are now, they like genuinely love each other, and it's so sweet.
Yeah, like their story begins with Simon being turned into a rat. Like, that's some story. Like, good for you that they got together in the end.
Yeah, I think their relationship is so adorable.
Also, it's interesting that they're the slow burn relationship and not Clary and Jace. Like, the main, you know, the main relationship should be like is usually the slow burn one, but then Clary and Jace are all over each other, and they're Simon and Izzy are like, oh yeah, like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's sweet. Oh, also, Louisa, when your Wi-Fi had cut out, we were talking about
I feel so bad.
I feel so bad for Louisa. Oh, I'm sending her positive internet vibes.
Same.
All right. We are going to be wrapping up soon, but if you guys have any more questions in the chat for us to answer, hopefully Louisa can make it back in time.
Yeah. There she is.
Is she back?
Oh, Louisa.
I'm back.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay. One thing we also talked about while you were gone is the novella with Mark when Simon ends up in Faerie, and like they're talking about like how the Shadowhunters won't come back for him. What did you think of that novella? Could you hear us?
I hope so.
Oh, poor Louisa. I feel so bad. I hate when this happens.
Yeah, stupid.
It was like not her fault.
Yeah.
Oh, I can hear her.
Yeah, I hear like Little sounds.
It's cutting in and out. Listen, this is just the typical BookTube live show, honestly. There's just always the internet problems.
Yeah, that's all right.
Let's see with what other questions we can pull up while Louise is getting herself settled.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through the chat. What was I going to say?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Sure.
Hi. Is it working?
Yeah, my phone is. It's okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry you're having all of these Wi-Fi issues. I feel so
Yeah, we're
bad.
sorry.
But it's fine now. Keep going.
I don't know if you heard what I said before. One other thing we were talking about was the novella with Mark, where Simon ends up in Faerie and he meets Mark Blackthorn, and they're talking about how like the Shadowhunters won't come back for him. What did you think of that novella?
I don't remember the name of it. Which one is it?
I think in English, I believe it's Bitter of Tongue. Is that the one? Could it be?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's that
I
one.
thought it was all the scenes that involve Mark and Faerie just make me so emotional. I want to cry because it's so sad. And you think that people are coming for him, and they're not. And I don't know. I cried. I cried again.
Yeah, it really hit me this time. Like, I don't think I cried the first time, but this time I started getting a little teary-eyed because it's just so sad. Like, you know, time passes different in Faerie, so it's been like years for him. And he spent all this time thinking that Shadowhunters are gonna come for him, and Simon's like, I'm sorry, like they can't help you. And he's just like, oh, what is it? It's like he said the line that Clare wrote is like, Mark said, oh, and it was like the sound of a small animal like dying or something.
Oh
it was,
my
like,
God.
so intense.
That's terrible.
It hurt my heart. Like,
yeah,
he
it
really
shows
does deserve that.
how the Shadowhunter world can be so terrible. Like, they're not gonna save Mark because he has, like, he's half fairy, he has fairy blood. Like, think about it. Like, that's the worst. Like, I still shocked. Like, yeah, they have like weird rituals and they're a bit extra Shadowhunters, but like it's such a serious thing that they're just doing.
It's so sad.
I really like
none of that.
to relate. No.
You really like what?
I really like to relate all of this relations with being exiled and being from a different race and bring this to the real world where we're now and with all these struggles. And it was fun because last year we had an essay class because like to go to college you have to write an essay and you have to relate some stuff with the real world and all of these. I used Cassandra Clare novels to go to college and I was accepted and because it's the politicals in this book. The politicals in this book is just so well developed and well thought because we can look up to this, and I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
No, totally.
Yeah, I mean,
but
in my eyes, and I'm pretty sure Cassia said this, how like the whole end of the Dark War and start of the Cold Peace, it's like totally allegorical to like World War II, like the end of World War I, beginning of World War II, with like making the fairies pay for the like literally that's out of my textbook, make them pay for reparations of the war.
Yeah,
they can't demilitarizing them where they can't have weapons.
That's exactly what happened.
Literally
so
everything that set up World War II, and it's like, you know, it is a fantasy world, but it is like it's totally reflective on our history and our present.
Sadly, our present.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's just like so great that, like, you know, it really embodies the statement: fiction doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's something that, you know, exists in the real world too. And I really, one of the things that I really love about Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy is like how political it is, and how that builds on how political the Dark Artifices is. And it really is like a very complex society with so many nuances that like you can't even begin to imagine when you start City of Bones.
Yes. Oh my god.
It's so
the
good.
series really developed. Like, think about City of Bones. Like, you know, girl, mom is gone. Like, and then now, like, like everything is just like boom. Like, no one expected this.
I actually filmed a video like right before this, and I had to give a synopsis of City of Bones. And in my head, I'm like, that is the most generic sounding book I have ever heard of. And then I think about like Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy and how much the world itself has grown is so wild. It's so big now. I love it.
Yeah, Cassie's a genius. Like, I'm just shocked.
She really is. Now, just out of curiosity, I know, Miriam, you said that like you haven't read Lord of Shadows. Did you read Lady Midnight yet?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Okay. And Louisa, you said that you read up to Lord of Shadows as well, right?
I read all of them.
You read all of them.
I'm so excited for Lord of Shadows. You've read them all. I feel like a fake fan.
There's no fake fans here. There's no fake fans. But yeah, I think it's really cool how Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy is really like the perfect middle ground book, because it really establishes so much of what's revealed in Lady Midnight and how much the world has changed. But it is still like this story of Simon, you know, it's not just like a filler book to set up things for Lady Midnight. It really has so much substance to it that is reflective of like Simon's character and like all of the other Shadowhunters too. Oh, one thing I just thought of too that's so funny is when the Dregs have the baseball game with the Shadowhunter.
Oh my god. That was great.
So funny.
I died of laughter. That was so great.
And I also really like how like that, like after that game is really when like they stop being the Dregs and the Shadowhunters, and they're just like all like the Shadowhunter students.
Which is also a really good lesson that Cassie put into it. Like everything is a lesson. Like we learned so much, which is great.
And it felt like a young adult novel, like some other book that we read, and I don't know, just felt more real. And okay, this is really political, but that's also a book about teenagers learning something and some kind of, I don't remember the term. Oh my god. I don't
like very
remember.
Educational, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like very insightful.
Yeah, it's educational. It's also just Simon like having a good time and like some jokes and so which is just great.
Oh, and also like on the same lines of like the baseball game and stuff. Like I love how like Marisol is just like force feeding John all of this mundane knowledge, and he like doesn't have a choice in it. And like by the end of it, he starts to really like it. It's so cute.
I love that part.
Okay. So I think we're ready to take our final question. And I think I have a really good like last discussion topic from Proud Book Lion. Thoughts on mundanes not ascending in Simon's family. Simon's mom apologizing for nothing when they talk about unconditional love. So like, what did you guys really think about the relationship between Simon and his family? And I think it's Angel's twice descending when him and Clary go back to New York and he like meets his mom again, like for the last time. What did you guys think of that?
I thought it was so sad. Like, it's such. I thought it was so sad.
Everything was sad.
Yeah, everything was sad.
Yeah, it's so emotional. It really is.
Because it's like a last goodbye.
Yeah, it's
a last
really
goodbye. Like
sad. And I know one of the things that really affected me about that scene is how like Oh my god, I cry thinking
No,
about
Emma.
when Simon's mom is like talking about like having this strange feeling that like she needs to apologize to Simon for rejecting
Oh my
him, but
God.
like she can't remember why.
That's
it's
so sad.
And it's like she's like, and I know like I would never do that to you, and I just want you to know that like I love you and I support you, and like it's so genuine, and you know that she really believes that, but in like another life like she really did, and like Simon is gonna live with the weight of that for the rest of his life, and it's just
he'll
so
never forget.
sad.
It's so sad because I think Simon, like, it's a scar. Like, he'll never forget his mom, like, telling him he's a monster, to get out. Like, I don't think, like, oh God, he's doing better. I don't think you recover from something like that. And I think his connection with his mother will always be affected by that. And she doesn't even know, so she can't. Oh, it's so terrible.
Yeah, it's like she literally like doesn't know. It's so sad.
Oh, this hurts.
It's all like I don't know, like I right now like I feel the way I felt when like Simon lost his memories for the first time. Like it really is like a persisting issue, and it's so sad. But I do like how I believe Simon says like it's okay if you don't wake, like you don't have to wake Rebecca right now, and like he like I think he says to Clare, he says to himself like I'll find a way, like I know she'll accept me, like we'll find a way to keep her in my life. And so I think that's like the shining end of the tunnel. Like he does have this new family of shadow hunters and these people that he belongs with. Like his real found family is like Clare and Jason, Isabelle, and them. But like he like isn't giving up everything that he's ever had to become a shadow hunter. Like he still, number one, has his integrity and like everything that he learned from being a downworlder and from being a mundane in the world of shadow hunters. And then also like, you know, he still has this connection to like his sister, and it's so sweet.
Yeah, it's like the middle ground. I really thought that was great.
Yeah. Alrighty, so I think that on that super heavy note, we are ready to head out of this live show. I think we have thoroughly devoured discussing this book, which makes me so happy. So thank you guys so much for joining us and for chatting all of your lovely, lovely questions. I had so much fun discussing it with you. And of course, thanks to Luz and Miriam for joining me. If you want to follow them on Goodreads and Instagram, they're in the description. So our next live show is going to be for Lady Midnight.
That's so exciting.
So excited to reread it. Oh my gosh.
I can't wait to reread it.
So yeah, we're going to be having another live show fairly soon. I'm finally back on track with this read-along after like 8 months.
Yes.
So it's very
you got it.
We're on the way. We're on the way.
So, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you soon for another live show. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.